In this video, I do want to talk with you about the physical symptoms that you can experience during your benzodiazepine taper and withdrawal. I'll talk with you a little bit about the things that nobody sees. I do understand it can be an absolute nightmare at times. I'll give you a short explanation of why these symptoms can occur and to just let you know that you are not dying, you are not going crazy, and that you will heal from the nightmare that you are facing now. I'll give you a few simple things that you can try to get you through the next wave. And I want you to know before I go any further that I have been exactly where you are now. My whole life I lived in a body that felt unsafe due to a difficult childhood. I struggled with many years of addiction. However, it was the benzo taper that was truly the most difficult time in my life. I struggled with addiction issues from a very young age. And by the time I was prescribed benzos for anxiety, I had already spent my whole life with a nervous system that was in constant high alert. I had lived overseas for quite a long time and I returned to the UK. And when I started tapering off my benzos, I was already in full-blown tolerance withdrawal. And the physical symptoms I experienced during my taper were absolutely horrific. But I do know that healing is possible, even from the darkness of where you may be right now. My heart would be pounding constantly non-stop. I'd be awake in bed 3 a.m. in the morning. Sleep would seem impossible to come by. So I do get it. You can feel like you're never going to recover from where you are now. Sleep can suffer dramatically, and I do understand that that can make things seem like you will never heal. I would be walking around the supermarket getting my shopping and my legs would just feel like jelly. I would get dizzy thinking I was going to collapse. It used to be horrendous. I do understand. I get it. One of the worst symptoms was the non-stop ringing within my ears. It would have me thinking at times I was going insane. Now, I do want to explain to you that in general terms, the symptoms come in waves. They can start with no clear trigger. You can be sitting there one moment and you feel fine, and the next moment your heart is racing. You have a ringing sound or a buzzing sound within your ears, and you can feel lightheaded and you can feel dizzy. The symptoms I have described to you happen during a benzo taper because our GABA receptors no longer have the natural calming ability of the benzodiazepines. So it automatically sends your full nervous system into overdrive, sending strong signals to all areas of your body. And I know you can try to make sense of it all, but to be honest with you, there is no making sense of what is happening to you at the moment. But you can do certain things, small, simple steps that will help you to calm the chaos. Your heart rate can be beating fast even when you're sitting still on your sofa. Your nervous system is sending signals to your heart, to all areas of your body, causing everything to be on high alert. I do understand, I truly do. But I do want to just sit here with you a little while. I'll explain a few of the things that can happen. The racing heart, non-stop pounding within your chest. At times you can feel dizzy and lightheaded. You can get ringing within your ears, constant noise that you think will never stop. At times you can feel like you're going mad. But I want to tell you you're not. These are the symptoms you experience as your mind has lost its natural calming abilities and you no longer have the soothing effects of the benzos. So your GABA receptors are basically depleted. You have no natural ability to calm down your central nervous system. So I do understand you can feel like you cannot make it through another moment, another day. You can get through the nightmare that you're facing now. I'm living proof. However, it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination. During this time, your anxiety can be dialed up to 1,000%. You can get panic attacks, which then activates your fight or flight response within your body. Your nervous system is dysregulated. It is releasing adrenaline within your body, which causes your heart to pound harder, pumping more blood around your body, getting you ready to run or fight. I do want to make it clear that this is a nervous system response. What you need to do when this happens is to sit yourself down or lie down if you feel better doing that. Take slow, deep breaths, 4 on the inhale and then 6 on the exhale. This will help you to calm your central nervous system down. Try to do this for 2 to 3 minutes. Always make sure you make the exhale longer than the inhale. This will let your body know that you are safe. You can feel lightheaded, you can feel dizzy, you can have jelly legs. This is because when your nervous system activates your fight, flight, or freeze response, when the fight or flight system is activated, this redirects blood away from your skin and your gut to your big muscles. That's done in preparation for you to run or fight. However, during this time, you're sitting safely in your home, but your mind and your body does not know the difference. Even standing up too quickly, it can cause you to go lightheaded and dizzy. It's during this time that you need to try to sit down, calm yourself with your slow, deep breaths. Know that it will pass. Know that you will be okay. And I do understand during this time we become very anxious. This causes us to breathe shallow and fast. The knock-on effect from this is that carbon dioxide decreases within our bloodstream. This causes pressure to build up within our mind, creating dizziness and headaches. Some of the things you can do to help with this is try to eat small, regular meals, keep yourself well hydrated, and as always, as I say for everything, slow, deep breaths. And you will get through the wave. Eating small, regular meals with protein can help to keep your blood sugar levels stable. This can also help with the dizziness and the feelings that you are going to faint. If this does happen, lean against a wall or sit down, plant both of your feet firmly on the ground. This gives your brain an immediate signal that you are physically safe and you are not falling. I do understand you can feel scared to stand up. I remember how bad the dizziness would get for me, and I did struggle. There were times I was scared to even go to the bathroom. There were times when I was living in my previous property, I would have to hold on to my wall and my banister as I was going up the stairs to bed. I do get that it can be so overwhelming for you, but you will get through this, as I know you've getting through every single day before you're watching this video. Pick one object in front of you that is not moving. Fix your eyes onto one stationary object. This helps your inner ear and your vision to recalibrate and stop the spinning and floating sensation that you may experience. Now, just so you know a little bit more about me, I have mentioned this in my previous videos. However, I have had ear issues my whole life. I recently got fitted with a hearing aid. So despite the benzodiazepine taper, I can tell you that I have had tinnitus on and off through my whole life due to ear problems. And during my taper, the tinnitus became unbearable at times. This is because benzos work by attaching themselves to your GABA receptors. During withdrawal, the auditory section of your brain becomes overexcited and less filtered. All of this extra activity is heard as ringing or buzzing or high-pitched whining within your ears. And an overexcited nervous system pays more attention to the smaller sounds. Even in a quiet room, you can hear sounds that can feel overwhelming. The more you focus on the sound, the more intense it can become, especially during this time when our anxiety is dialed up to 1,000%. What I have found to be very beneficial is gentle background noise. Maybe a soundtrack you have on your Spotify, something like rain, white noise, and a fan can help you with this, especially on an evening when everything is quiet. Then you can gently bring your focus back to the external sound and not focus so heavily on what is happening within inside of you. I understand that insomnia can be horrendous during this time, but it is very important that you do try to go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time. This helps to give your mind and your body some form of structure. Even with insomnia, a consistent sleep routine helps to anchor your internal body clock. Constantly changing the times you go to bed can cause more sensitivity within your nervous system. This can also increase the physical symptoms that you can face. It's during these times that you need to stop scrolling on your mobile phone. I have never been a fan of mobile phone use. However, during your benzo taper, you do need to be mindful of how much time you're spending on your phone. Try to take a few minutes to just sit in silence. Concentrate on your slow, deep breathing. Your mind needs more calm, more stability, more quiet. Put your phone down, do 10 slow, deep breaths instead. Your nervous system needs less stimulation, not more. Along with that, you add breathing, self-care, and a simple routine. These can help you to lessen the physical symptoms you will experience. But I also do want to tell you that as I'm sitting here now making this video for you, I am fully healed. Despite living a life of pain, a life of addiction, and an absolute nightmare with benzodiazepines, and it was not an easy journey. It was quite difficult, almost impossible at times, but I am now healed. I spent my life living in a body that was a war zone. My mind was in chaos. However, I have come to learn after many decades of studying and a lifetime of lived experience that breathing, structure, and routine will help you to come through the nightmare that you are facing now. And if you're still with me now, I do appreciate I'm not the most interesting person when I'm making these videos for you. It's quite uncomfortable for me, if I'm honest. As I've mentioned before, I try to make them brief and to the point, as I understand concentrating can be very difficult. However, I do want you to know that despite living a life of pain, a life of trauma, in a body that was a war zone, my nervous system has now calmed. My mind has healed from the benzo taper. I now live a life of peace and calm, free from anxiety, free from depression. Then the only reason I have healed is because I kept doing the small things. I concentrated on my self-care, I concentrated on my breathing, and I concentrated on routine. And this is what will get you through the troubles that you're facing now. In an effort to heal myself, I have spent over 20 years studying mental health and addiction issues. And it is only now, through hindsight, I truly do know what works. And that is self-care, structure, routine, and breathing. And I do know that you will get through this. I will be making other videos on topics relating to anxiety, depression, and mental health. However, as you've seen, benzos are my great passion, having went through that. And I also do know it is impossible to fix everything in one day. You concentrate on the small, simple tasks, and that will get you through the darkness that you're facing now. You don't need to fix everything today. You only need to get through this wave. And I know you've gotten through every single day before today, and you will get through this now. As my channel is named, today is all that matters. Because after living a life of pain and trauma, it is truly that philosophy that has got me to where I am now. I did spend many years living in Asia. I've mentioned this before. I was a very high functioning individual. Nobody ever knew the pain I was in, the trauma I dealt with. But I do make these videos for you because I can understand. You can feel so isolated from the world. You can feel like nobody will ever stand what you're going through now. But I do. I have been where you are, and I have been to hell and back with benzos. But I do want you to know that you will make it through. It's not an easy journey. We don't know how long it will take. It's been 4 years since I've taken my last benzodiazepine tablet. And I will be honest, it was very difficult for a time after that. But through hindsight, I do know if you create yourself a small, simple routine, concentrate on your self care and your breathing, and understand that all of the symptoms that you're feeling now, they're not forever. And I do know you will make it through this. So please, as I always say, you keep fighting every single day and you never stop. You never give up.